Hey, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so glad you're here today because we're diving into something we all experience, yet often struggle to navigate life challenges. hmm The moments that shake us, test our patience, and make us wonder, why me? Now, before we jump in, I want you to pause for just a moment. I want you to close your eyes if you can and take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. One more time, inhale and exhale. Feel your body settle. Feel your mind quiet, even just a little. Now, hold in your mind one challenge you're facing right now. It could be personal, professional, a relationship, or even just the unpredictability of life. You got it? Hold it gently, without judgment. This is your space, your moment to simply notice, to just be. Life can feel messy. Plans fall apart, relationships shift, goals get delayed, and yes, it's hard. And here's what I want you to remember. Even in the hardest moments, there's a blessing hiding somewhere, a lesson waiting to be uncovered. There's always a silver lining, even when it's hard to see. So today, we're going to explore how to find gratitude in the grit, how to notice the lessons in the struggle, and how those moments, yes, even the painful ones, can become fuel for growth, resilience, and inner strength. Take a slow breath in and settle into this moment as you exhale. This is your time, your space, and together we are going to discover grace in the grit. That's right, grace in the grit. So let's get real for a moment. Life is messy, and sometimes it feels like every day is working against you. A project falls through, a relationship ends, a dream you've held close doesn't come to life the way you imagined. Maybe a plan you worked tirelessly on just evaporates. Or maybe someone you trusted lets you down. And it hurts deeply. And that's okay. It's okay to feel frustrated, disappointed, even angry. Life is supposed to move us. And sometimes the bumps feel like roadblocks, like the world is testing us in ways we didn't ask for. I want to share a story. There was a time in my life when I thought I had everything figured out. I had a plan, a goal, a sense of direction. I could see the path ahead so clearly, or so I thought. And then it all fell apart. And in that moment, I felt small, powerless, completely lost. I questioned myself. I questioned life. I even wondered if I was capable of moving forward at all. I stayed in that dark place longer than I should have. Years. I know many of you have been there too. The feeling of being stuck in the storm, wondering if the sun will ever shine again. Maybe it was a job you thought would last forever, only to be taken away. Maybe it was a relationship you poured your heart into, only to have it unravel. Maybe it was a personal dream you nurtured and suddenly it seemed out of reach. and it's heavy. It's exhausting. And yet, the heaviness is part of the process. It's part of the growth. Here's what I want you to notice. Feeling the pain doesn't make you weak. Feeling the disappointment doesn't mean you failed. It simply means you're human. And that's the first step to moving forward, acknowledging the struggle without shame, without judgment. Here's the truth. Staying in a place doesn't change the situation. It just makes the struggle heavier. And that's why today I want us to consider a different approach, finding gratitude in the midst of the storm. Because even when life seems unfair, even when it feels like the world is against you, there's always something to learn. There's always a small lesson, a hidden blessing, a chance to see things differently. Take a breath with me. Go ahead. Inhale, exhale. Let that breath that you just took remind you that even in the heaviness, there's a path forward. And that path starts with noticing what life is teaching us. Maybe it's patience. Maybe it's resilience. Maybe it's learning how strong you really are when the world feels heavy. Maybe it's discovering how capable you are of holding space for your own heart. And here's a little truth I want to leave you with in this moment. You are not alone in this. Every person you admire, every person who seems to have it together, has faced storms too. The difference isn't that they've never fell, it's that they learned to find the lessons in the fall, the silver lining in the pain, the small gratitudes in the chaos. That's what makes the difference. So if you're sitting there feeling the weight of a challenge, I want you to allow yourself to feel it fully. And then imagine for just a moment what it might look like to see a tiny glimmer of a blessing in the heaviness. That tiny shift, that small moment of awareness is where gratitude begins. And it's where the first step towards lightening up the load starts. So take one more deep breath with me. Go ahead and inhale, exhale, and know this. Even in the chaos, even in the struggle, there's a spark waiting to guide you forward. And noticing it is the beginning of change. Now that we've sat with the struggle, let's try something different, a shift in perspective. Because here's the thing, what if those hard moments weren't just obstacles, but teachers? What if every challenge, every disappointment, every curveball life throws us our way carries a hidden message, a lesson we would have discovered otherwise? Let me give you an example. I once lost a project that I thought would be my big break. Oh, I was devastated. I felt like I had failed. I replayed that situation over and over in my mind, wondering where I went wrong. And later, with a little distance and reflection, I realized that losing that project actually freed me for something even bigger, something I hadn't even imagined. That loss, that thing I thought was the end, was actually a gift in disguise. And it's not just about the big life events. Sometimes the lessons hide in the small stuff. A difficult conversation that left you frustrated might teach you patience or clarity. A sudden change in plans might show you how adaptable you really are. A disagreement with someone you love might reveal new depths of compassion and understanding that you didn't even know you had. Life is full of these tiny hidden lessons if we're willing to notice them. So, here's a question I want you to sit with for a moment. Where in your life might there be a hidden lesson waiting to be discovered? It might not feel like grit right now, but with patience, reflection, and a gentle shift in perspective, it might become one. Even the hardest moments can guide us towards growth, resilience, and inner strength. Take a deep breath with me right now. Go ahead and inhale and let it out slowly. Let yourself feel the possibility, the idea that your challenges are not just obstacles, but teachers guiding you towards something greater. Imagine for a moment. Look back on a difficult season and realize it was actually what you needed to grow. Can you see it? Can you feel that shift in energy just by imagining it? And here's one thing. This isn't more pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's not about glossing over the pain. It's about choosing to notice the lesson in the midst of it. It's about planting a seed of possibility in your mind, a small thought that whispers, there's something here for me, even if I can't see it yet. So, as we move into the next session, I want to invite you to carry that thought with you. Even in the struggle, there's a gift waiting to be found. And finding it, truly noticing it, is the first step towards turning life challenges into opportunities for growth. Now, let's get into the real everyday stuff. Life throws curveballs at us constantly, and sometimes it feels like there's no warning, no instruction manual, and no easy way to navigate it. Your car breaks down on the way to an important meeting. A relationship you thought would last forever ends unexpectedly. A personal goal that you've worked so hard towards suddenly feels out of reach. Maybe your health isn't cooperating or a family situation feels impossible to manage. These are the moments that test us, shakes us, and sometimes makes us question everything. Here's what I've noticed over the years. These challenges, as uncomfortable as they are, often spark growth in ways we never anticipated. They teach resilience. Every time you push through, you discover that you are stronger than you realized. They spark creativity. You find solutions, perspectives, and ways of being that you wouldn't have discovered if life had been smooth and easy. They shift perspective. You learn what truly matters, what you value, and what you are capable of handling. Let me share another personal story. There was a season in my life where everything seemed to be falling apart at once. At that time, it was exhausting, overwhelming, and honestly, a little terrifying. I couldn't see past the chaos. But looking back now, I realize that season was one of the most pivotal times in my life. It forced me to slow down, to reflect deeply, and to really listen to my own heart. It's where I discovered some of my deepest strengths, resilience, and inner wisdom. And that, my friends, is the silver lining. That's the silver lining we are talking about. And here's something I want you to consider. Growth and lessons don't always show up in grand, obvious ways. Often they're subtle. A difficult conversation or that that teaches us that patience. We have to have tact. A disagreement with a friend teaches you empathy and self-reflection. A day when nothing goes as planned teaches you adaptability and flexibility. The beauty of it is that even the smallest lessons can ripple outward, influencing other areas of your life in ways that you might never notice immediately. So I want you to pause for a moment and reflect on your own life. Think about a challenge that you faced that at the time felt impossible. Maybe it was a failed plan, a tough conversation, or a moment of personal disappointment. And now, looking back, can you see how the challenge taught you something important? How it shaped your character, your perspective, or your resilience? Gratitude helps us notice these moments. It shines a light on the hidden lessons. Here's another layer. The people around us often play a role in these lessons too. Someone might challenge us, push our buttons, or even let us down. And while it can be painful, it often teaches us boundaries, self worth, and the ability to navigate relationships with more clarity. Challenges aren't just about what happens to us, they're also about what we learn about ourselves in the process. And I want you to, and I want to remind you of something crucial. Feeling the struggle doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human. It means life is moving you forward, even if it doesn't feel comfortable in the moment. And that discomfort is often when the biggest growth lives. So allow yourself to feel the heaviness, to acknowledge it fully, but also allow yourself to notice even the smallest glimmer of lessons or, or blessings are in the moment. Let's take another deep breath in. Let's go ahead and exhale slowly. Let that awareness settle. Imagine for a moment that even the toughest days are shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, more compassionate. Imagine looking back on these challenges and seeing the hidden gifts they carried. You feel the shift already? That's the power of gratitude and the grit. And here's the invitation I want to leave you in this section. Throughout this week, try noticing these moments as they arise. When life challenges you, pause and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What is this showing me? Where's the hidden blessing? Even if the answer isn't obvious immediately, just planting that seed is your mind starts to open to the doors of growth, perspective, and peace. And remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about pretending the struggle doesn't exist. It's about learning to navigate the mess with grace, curiosity, and a willingness to find the lessons tucked inside. That's where the real magic happens. And that's where your resilience and growth grows. Now, now that we've explored the struggles, reflected on the lessons, and imagined the possibilities, let's pause and notice the shift that can happen when we practice gratitude in the midst of life's challenges. Because here's the thing, when you start looking at the lessons, the hidden blessings, and the growth in the struggles, everything begins to feel a little lighter. Even the heaviest moments can start to feel less overwhelming. Think of it this way, gratitude doesn't change the situation overnight, it doesn't erase the challenges, it changes your relationship with them. Suddenly, what once felt like a mountain becomes a stepping stone. What once felt like chaos starts to show you the patterns, the opportunities, the ways you are growing through it all. Here's a simple practice I want to offer you. When life tests you this week, and we know it will, instead of asking, why me? Pause. Take a deep breath and ask, what is this teaching me? Where is the lesson? Where is the hidden blessing? And then whisper to yourself, I am grateful for the lessons that challenges bring. Say it slowly, let it sink in, feel it in your body, your mind, your heart. That small shift in thought can start to change everything. Another way to feel this shift is to notice even the tiniest things in your day that change you. Your clarity, peace, comfort. Maybe it's a kind word from a friend, a quiet moment alone, a breath of fresh air, or even just noticing that you made it through a difficult moment. All of these signs, they're gratitude. And the gratitude is opening the door to transformation. When you begin to notice these moments, the heaviness of life disappears and your perspective shifts. And that shift is powerful. So take a moment now. Inhale, exhale. Let yourself feel the possibility of this shift. Imagine carrying this awareness into your day to day life. Imagine seeing challenges as teachers, moments of growth, and opportunities for grace. That, my friends, is where the resilience grows, where your inner strength expands, and where the seeds of peace and clarity begin to take root. And remember, the shift isn't about rushing or forcing anything, it's gentle. It's noticing, pausing, reflecting, and letting the lesson emerge in its own time. When you practice this regularly, you'll notice how even the smallest moment of gratitude begins to ripple outward, changing how you experience the bigger moments too. So, as we move towards closing today, carry this thought with you. Life's challenges don't have to weigh you down. When you choose to notice the lessons, when you allow yourself to feel gratitude, even in the grit, you open the door to transformation. That's the shift, the moment where struggle begins to feel less like an obstacle and more like a pathway of growth. Friends, as we wrap up today's conversation, I want to leave you with this thought. Life isn't about waiting for perfect moments. It's about finding the blessings, even when it's messy. It's about discovering the lessons tucked inside the struggles, the growth hidden in the grit, and the silver linings that show up when you pause, breathe, and reflect. So here's your invitation before we part our ways. Notice just one silver lining in your life this week. It can be big, small, a moment of patience, a lesson learned, a surprise that shifted your perspective. Hold it close. Let it remind you that even the chaos, there's grace. And carry with you this affirmation: I am grateful for the lessons that challenges bring. Whisper it to yourself. Let it sink in and let it guide your steps forward. And if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs this reminder of grace and the grit. Spread a little light today. Remember, transformation starts with noticing, with gratitude, and the gentle reflection. You have the power to turn even the toughest moments into stepping stones towards growth and peace. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Be gentle with yourself, notice the blessings, and see. And I'm going to see you next week for another soulful conversation. Until then, stay glorious. This beautifully completes your Soulful Saturday with Saylor's episode, Grace and the Grit. Our title theme is Gratitude for Challenges, Finding the Silver Lining.